Alright, so I'm gonna do a video on 5 things that I wish I did in my 20s to make my 20s a little bit happier, or a lot happier. Now, I'm not saying I had unhappy 20s, but these things would definitely have helped. And I experienced all the existential dread that so many 20-year-olds have, and about their future and so on. And I actually did this coaching call, and ran these things through on Iman Gadzhis community, and it went down very well. So I thought I'd do this one for a YouTube video as well. So let's get into it. But before, actually, I'd love to hear you guys adding it on into the comments, right in the comments, other ideas, other things you would do, some of the older guys with the experience you guys have, things that maybe you're already doing in your 20s. And to be honest as well, this isn't just for people in their 20s, right? This is for any age as well, any age. And it can be applied at any time in your life, and it's going to make things a bit happier. And I'm doing them today and applying them today, and it's making me feel a lot better. So let's get into it. Now, I'm going to start with the story of the Chinese farmer. If you don't know the story, there was a Chinese farmer, and he had a farm, and on the farm he had some horses, and the horses ran away. And his neighbors heard about this, and they came round knocking on the door, and they said, "Oh, we heard your horses ran away. That's terrible." And the Chinese farmer replied, "Maybe." And the next day, the horses came back. And the neighbors heard about this, and they came knocking on the door, and they said, "Oh, we heard your horses came back. That's great." And the Chinese farmer said, "Maybe." And the next day, his son, the Chinese farmer's son, was riding on the horses, and he fell off and he broke his arm. And the neighbors heard about this, and they came knocking on the door and said, "Oh, we heard about your son. That's terrible." And the Chinese farmer said, "Maybe." And the next day, the Chinese military came round to take his son away for military service. And they saw he had a broken arm, so they didn't take him. And the neighbors heard about this, and they knocked on his door, and they said, "Oh, that's great news that your son doesn't have to go to the military." And the Chinese farmer said, "Maybe." So, one of the morals of that story is, things are never as bad or as good as they seem. And life is so complex, so complicated, and the ebbs and flows and the thread of life, that you'll never really know the true outcome of a scenario or a situation or event that happens to you, basically until your dying days, essentially. Even then, we can just label it good or bad, off the labels we just put on things. But you think that something so terribly happens to you, your girlfriend cheats on you or leaves you, or you think it's so bad, it might actually end up leading to something really good, and vice versa. You think something's really good and it might end up being something bad. So don't get too carried away with it, with the waves of life. Don't let them carry you away. Stay as calm and look at the bigger picture and the long-term perspective as much as you can. And the second thing would be, your attitude should be gratitude. Try to practice gratitude every single day, a few minutes a day. In fact, just 5 minutes of gratitude has been shown to increase and boost immunity, your immune system. But don't just do it for that reason. With so much time we spend in our 20s, especially if you're like a self-improvement 20-year-old, you're so focused on trying to get better. And in trying to get better, that means that you're not completely satisfied where you are. And that's great, that's fine, that can get you places where you will need to go. We all need that, but at the same time, we miss and stop thinking about the good things we do have. Stop being grateful for the good things in our life. Too focused on the negative, and we want to do this and achieve this and attain this and that. We need to take some time every day to focus on those things. And it can be the smallest things, man. Sometimes I wake up in the morning, I'm just like, I'm grateful for the slippers on my feet so I don't have to touch the cold floor right and from the beginning of the day. You know, it's little things like that. And if you don't have anything to be grateful for, then, well, I don't really believe you. You're probably dead. But try and do this visualization technique. Imagine you're 90 years of age and you get to come back in time to today. For one day, you get to come back to now, to this moment. So you've gone from 90 years of age and how that feels and how you look and everything else, and you get to come back to today. And you get to, immediately, there's this gratitude of this moment and your youthfulness and how you look and how you feel. It's quite powerful. Number 3 would be to give back. But to give back and don't expect anything else in return. So again, when you're young and you're trying to make it in life, you're so self-centered. You're so focused on you and who you want to be and become and what you want to do that we become a bit selfish and self-absorbed. Spend some time giving back, doing things for others, nice little gestures. Start small, start small with let people go in the road. Don't expect a thank you. That used to drive me mad, I'd let people go in, let them out in the road in front of me and they wouldn't say thank you and I'd beep the horn and be like, oh, thank you, wanker. And that's just my ego. That's my ego wanting that validation. Buy someone a drink or something, anything, to start small, because if you think that you're only going to give back and give to charity and help people when you've made it and you've got money, you're probably not. If you can't do the little things now, then you won't do the big gestures, I'm sure, later down the line. And maybe it's not completely altruistic because I'm telling you to do it because it makes you feel better. Okay, well, that's probably a video for another debate. Does real true altruism ever exist? That's always up for debate, but just don't expect anything in return. Who cares if no one says thank you? Who cares that no one's going to return the favor? You did what you did. That's good enough. Number 4, stay humble. Stay humble, guys. We have a tendency when we're young to believe that we have all the answers. We know it all. Boy, oh boy, when we're young, do we not? Stay humble. You don't have the answers. No one does. You don't know as much as you think. And so listen, learn from people, whoever, you want to learn from people that have what you want. And you want to listen to people that are further down the line and older than you and have the more life experience and knowledge and wisdom. It's only going to enrich your life. It's only going to get you to where you want to be and who you want to be quicker. Learn, read, study, podcast a lot. All of that's great, but take any advice anyone's got. Listen. You don't have all the answers. And on number 5, whilst you're young, you're never going to have as much time, freedom, and as little responsibility as you do now. So make the most of that time by filling up with experiences and skills. Become as well-rounded as you can. Learn as many different things as you can. Play the guitar, the piano, learn to box, play chess, learn to hunt for your food, cook, whatever it is. There's many different things in different areas as you can whilst you got the time, because you never know as well. You might find something that becomes a passion, and it might surprise you that it becomes a passion. Then that might lead you down a path that you never foresaw, never planned, but it leads you to an amazing place. You wouldn't known that if you didn't try multiple things, the more skilled we are, the more prepared we are for the unknown as well. And fill it up with those experiences. With those learning those skills comes experiences and comes opportunities, and just take them all. Take every opportunity you can and travel and have a good time and do what you can, man. Because when you get older and maybe you'll get married and maybe you'll have kids, you don't have that time. You've got too many responsibilities. You can't just up and leave. You can't just go and start a new class and people rely on you and you've got bills to pay. So fill up the time becoming well-rounded and create as many memories as you can while you're young. So they're my 5 major ones, guys. What do you think? I'd love to hear your thoughts and what you could add on to. But I guarantee if you're not doing these things and you implement those in 2025 and in your 20s and beyond, you'll have a happier time, guys. And like I've said before, if you can't be happy, what's the point of it all, eh? Peace.